Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this video, I'm going to talk about integrals of the product sine and cosine. First, integral of sine u du is equal to minus cosine u plus c, because the derivative of cosine minus, and there is minus, so it will be sine. And the integral of cosine u du is equal to sine u plus c, because the derivative of sine is cosine. Now, what about the example number one? Example number one. What about if I have integral of sine x cosine x dx? Now, the integral of, if we look at here, the derivative of sine is cosine. So now what is the answer is? Because now this one cosine x is the derivative of u. If I say sine, if like, for example, I said u is equal to sine x, for example. Now what about du? The du equal what will be here? So the du will be cosine u du, cosine x dx. So then I can say, I write this one, the integral, as u, okay, du. Why u? Because sine is u. Cosine x dx, what cosine x dx? See, cosine dx is du. Cosine x dx is du. So then what is the answer? The answer is u squared over 2, because u power 1, this one. So then I can write the answer direct. See, I can answer the answer direct. What the answer is? Sine squared, because the derivative of sine cosine, sine squared x over 2 plus c. So this is the answer. Like I said here, u squared over 2 because you is sine x. Then another example. If I said an example, this one, for example, sine 3x, okay, sine 3x cosine x cosine here, cosine 3x cosine 3x dx. Now, what is the derivative of sine? What is the derivative of sine? So the derivative of sine 3x, the derivative of this one is cosine 3x times the derivative of 3x is 3 dx. So now I have cosine 3x, but what we need the 3. So this one I can write it equal to, now the integral, see, the integral of sine 3x sine 3x. Okay, so cosine 3x dx, we can write it as, the first one is sine 3x times cosine 3x. I have seen it with this color, different color, cosine 3x dx. So, but what we need, what is the derivative of sine? We said 3 cosine, so we need the 3. So we have to multiply by 3. Now the derivative of sine x u du, we have 3 cosine x dx. But if you multiply by 3, this will be not equal. To be equal, so you have to divide by 3. Why? It's like 1. This is 1, because 3 is 1. It's not affect the answer. So still equal. Still the equal is this here. Still they are equal. Now equal what? Equal now sine u, sine 3x, 3 cosine 3x. So what about now the integral of sine? The integral of sine u squared over 2, sine squared 3x over 2 plus c. But before the integral, we have 1 over 3. We have 1 over 3. So this one is equal to now, equal to, the answer is 1 over 6. The integral will be 1 over 6. Okay, the integral is 1 over 6 sine squared 3x plus c. Okay, now sine cosine, the derivative of sine cosine. So, but we need only 3, the derivative of 3. So multiply by 3, divide by 3 to be equal. And then the sine, the derivative 3 cosine, so it will be sine squared over 2. Another example. If I have integral of sine 5 2x cosine 2x dx. How to find the integral? Now, the derivative of sine cosine, cosine 2, and here also is cosine 2. Only we need the derivative of the angle. What is the derivative? 2. So we need 2. So we have to multiply by 2 and divide by 2. And this one is equal to. So we have to multiply by 2. So I have 2 cosine 2x. Now, this one 2 cosine is the derivative of what? The derivative of sine 2x. Now this one, see, this one of here, cosine, 2 cosine, the derivative of sine 2x. But what you have? We have sine power with the power 5. Sine, the derivative of sine only, we have the derivative. But if you multiply by 2, see this one 2, multiply by 2, so we have to divide by 2. See, this one multiply by 2. Why? Because the derivative of 2x, 2. Sine cosine, 2x is 2. So we need 2. So multiply by 2 and divide by 2. Why? To be 1. Because now they are equal the same. Okay, will be equal the same. Now, see students. See here now. The derivative of sine cosine. What is the integral now? The integral of sine, the integral of sine. 2x will be 5 plus 1 will be 6 sine power 6 over 6 plus c. And what do you have here? 1 over 2. So the answer is 1 over 12 sine 6 2x plus c. Okay, another example. Another example. If we have integral of this one here, in this example, I have sine power 5 2x cosine 2x. But see, students, if I have only sine squared 2x dx, what is the integral of this one? This one, we write it as double angle formula. What is the double angle formula? We have sine squared of theta is half 1 minus cosine, 1 minus cosine, 1 minus cosine 2 theta. So only sine I have here, only sine. So this would be half integral of half, see, half of what? 1 minus cosine double angle. I have 1, but here I have 2. So it be cosine. See, if 1 theta will be 2 theta. What about 2x? Will be 4x. 4x dx. 4x dx. It's okay. So now this one, the integral. Yeah, the integral. So it'll be sine square half 1 minus cosine 4x. Then how to find out the answer is this one equal 1 by 1. First half times 1 will be half integral of 1 dx minus half integral of cosine 4x dx term by term. Okay, equal to the first one will be half x minus the second one, the integral of cosine sine, but you need the derivative of the angle. But the derivative of 4x is 4, so I need to multiply by 4. So that is mean I have to multiply by 4 inside the integral. So then I have cosine 4x cosine u du. What is the u? 4 dx. But if you multiply by 4, you have to divide by 4, and already you have 2, so it'll be 1 over 8. See, now look at here, 4 with 8, return back what? 2. Return back 2. They are still equal to same. Equal to now. The first one is said half x minus what? That now the integral of cosine u du sine. So 1 over 8 sine 4x plus c. See, students, this one sine square, this is the integral. Cosine square, if you have cosine square, I'm going to write that, write it now exactly. If you have cosine square, for example, 2x dx, what will be? So you have to use the same, exact the same double angle formula. What is half? But would be not, it is not 1 minus cosine, we want a plus the rule. The formula is half 1 minus cosine, 1 plus cosine, what double angle formula? 4x dx. Look at here, for sine square, 1 minus, see this is the one, 1 minus, this for sine square. For cosine square, let's write it here, for cosine square, theta is half okay, the marker problem, that's a half. Okay, it is half 1 minus 1 plus cosine 2 theta. Look at the angle. This 1 minus for sine square, for cosine square, the formula is 1 plus 1 plus. And be the integral, be the same, continue the same process. Like I did in the previous example. Now, I will substitute the product rule. In case if we have, for example, see, if I have sine, for example, square x multiplied by cosine square x. How to solve now this one? Sine square but cosine square. In this case, both of them are even. I use the identity formula. Sine square is half 1 minus what we said cosine 2x. And what the second one is half times 1 plus cosine 2x dx. Clear? So I can use this one. Equal to, now equal what? Equal is 1 over 4. Then I have what I have 1 minus cosine squared. I have here, because this one will be difference of 2 squares, cosine square what of 2x dx. I can write it in this way. 1 minus difference square. Okay, and this one is equal to, equal what now? See, equal to 1 over 4 integral of sine squared. See, I can write it sine squared this one. See, I can write it sine squared because 1 minus cosine squared is 2x dx. Why? See, why the reason is because of I have sine squared. See, let me use a different term. Because of sine squared times plus cosine squared x is equal to. So that is mean here sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared. That is mean sine squared 1 minus cosine squared. So now this is equal to, will be here equal to 1 over 4 integral of sine squared, what we said, 1 minus cosine squared. I can write it. So this is the reason 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. But what about sine squared? What about the integral of sine squared? Again, repeat from the beginning. This one, the first one is use the identity. This is the identity. Sine squared, we use half 1 minus cosine. Cosine square, I use half the same, but the 1 plus cosine square. See, in which case both of them are even power. Sine squared times cosine squared, even power. So we use what? The identity, 1 minus cosine double angle, and here using the identity of double angle. Then if we look at this one, 1 minus cosine times 1 plus cosine, difference of 2 squares. First one square 1 minus the next one square, second square cosine, cosine square 2x. 1 minus cosine square is from this identity 1. Here minus cosine square is sine square. Why? Because sine square plus cosine square equal to 1. Then how to find out the integral of what? Sine square. Again, sine square use the identity. This one sine square, half 1 minus cosine 2 theta. So it will be half 1 minus cosine double angle 4x dx equal what? 1 over 4 be 1 over 8 integral. The first one, what I have, the first one is x. Okay, or let us write the details to be clear. So the first one is dx minus 1 over 8 integral cosine what? 4x dx. Now, equal to the first one is 1 over 8x minus what the integral of cosine sine, but we need 4. So that is mean you have to multiply by 4 here, times 4, and you have to divide by 4. So multiply by 4 and divide by 4. If you multiply by 4, then it will be in this way. See, in this way. I have 1 over 32 divided by 4, and here multiply by 4. So multiply by 4. Okay, this one 4. Here 4. For what? For cosine 4x dx. Now the derivative of 4x 4. And divide by 4, so it will be 32. Then, see student, now here. What is the integral of cosine? Sine 1 over 8x 1 over 32, the integral of cosine sine, so be sine 4x plus c. So this is in this part, part 1. Then we have more in part 2.